Hey, so I think it's time that we start talking about the Antichrist. So I've been writing and teaching about the Antichrist for 25 plus years, and I've been studying this topic for actually much longer than that, like 40, gosh, 48 years now. I can't believe I'm even that old. Anyways, so let me start by asking you this. So who's your favorite Antichrist? So if you're into this stuff, I'm sure you have your favorite candidate. Maybe you don't like President Trump, so he's the Antichrist. He speaks pompous words. That's from the Book of Daniel. Maybe it's President Putin, of Russia. Let's see, President Erdogan of Turkey, Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. Maybe you don't like Netanyahu. He's the Antichrist. Therefore. Or maybe you're looking at like the tech giants, Elon Musk, or if you're old school, maybe Bill Gates, right? I remember back in the day he was the Antichrist. Who else? Oh, when I was, a teenager, it was Ronald Reagan and or Mikhail Gorbachev. The list goes on and on. The point is, listen, everybody who has a candidate, it's almost always just based on your visceral reaction to that person. That does not make them the Antichrist. It doesn't mean that, different people are not involved in this story, the end time story. But just because you don't like someone, it doesn't mean they're the Antichrist, okay? So, and here's the thing, is that the Bible goes into tremendous detail about the Antichrist, who he is, his nature, his character, his origins, his actions. So, God doesn't leave us hanging. We just have to guess who the Antichrist is when the time comes. Listen, if we're anywhere near the last days, and I think a lot of us believe, we're convinced that we are, then doesn't the Antichrist need to appear like sometime soon? I think that he is definitely due on the scene right now. In my opinion, all the prerequisites are met. So we're going to start looking at this, not in this little 3-minute clip here, because there's not time to really delve into my first verse. My first verse, by the way, is going to be Daniel chapter 11, verse 37. We're going to start with that. We're going to look at the Old Testament. We're going to look at the New Testament, more the Old Testament. The Old Testament actually gives more information. We're also going to be looking at, of course, Jewish eschatology. And maybe surprisingly to you, maybe not, Muslim eschatology is extremely pertinent to the story of the Antichrist, as we're going to see. So hang with me. This is just my first little drop here. I just want to kind of get the ball rolling. But I guess I could start with that. Like, who do you think is the Antichrist? And I can pretty much guarantee that you are mistaken. I'm sorry, but we're going to discuss it. I do have a candidate. I do believe he is on the world scene now. Not quite for the last year. But so stay tuned, and we will be delving deep into this topic.